Great to have you, the realestateexperts.com real estate show. I'm Brian Crabtree. Find us online at therealestateexperts.com, including editions of this radio show on the blog tab. Search every home in Metro Atlanta and get your home's value there right now on the home valuation tab. It's a full resource for anything you want to know about Metro Atlanta real estate. Coming up on today's show, this is going to be a good one. Why American businesses are increasingly refusing to work with anyone but dumb people. I'm going to have some fun with that, and I'm not kidding either. Why American businesses are increasingly refusing to work with anyone but dumb people. And then how some homeowners, some home sellers will never, I mean never, get more than 90% of what their home is actually worth, no matter where their home is, no matter where they live, no matter what. They can't make more than 90% of what their home is worth. So what is it that they do to cost themselves thousands and thousands of dollars infinitum throughout their life? That is a valuable segment you do not want to miss if you own or ever plan to own a home coming up a little bit later. First, I want to kind of tee all this up. I've talked on the show about the fact I'm buying a boat, a sailboat. I've long wanted one. I've owned one in a shared ownership before, which means I got all the benefits, and the only negative was the cost, and somebody else dealt with all the maintenance. And I'm finding that even in that industry, whether you're up at Lake Lanier or you're down on the ocean somewhere in Fort Lauderdale where this boat happens to be, that the world has become pharmaceuticals, especially in the United States. And what I mean by this is every company in America that is really making the bank, making the money, whether it be a Google or a Facebook or a Comcast or a Pfizer or a pharmaceutical company or a CVS or any of these major businesses, there's really two reasons that they're making so much money. They have found a way to create chaos and confusion in the economy and marketplace they serve. And from that confusion, they basically make a lot of money because people don't know how they're being ripped off. That's why I said it a moment ago, this is tipping the hat a little bit, but it's much more than this. Why American businesses are increasingly refusing to work with smart people. Otherwise, they want to work with dumb people because dumb people just pay the bill, don't argue, and move on. And that's increasingly becoming the America we live in. As a result, America has become a corrupt, dishonorable society, mostly caused by the cheating and the greed of some, I don't mean every rich person or big company, but a great number of very wealthy people and large businesses. They offer no value to the average consumer, that means you and me, but instead they bully their way into our financial lives as a useless financial middleman. They increase costs, they devalue service, they cause horrible productivity losses throughout the economy, mostly at the household level, which is where it's needed the most, and create significant cultural damage, all while driving costs for you and me and others wildly out of control. The people harmed are the people like you and me, and even worse, the people who have very little means to begin with. These are what the businesses are doing. In fact, folks, I think they're doing it on purpose. I don't think any longer that businesses have decided that, they're just going to make all the money they can and be honest about it. No, they've actually converted from having an honest business, solving a problem or adding value to a situation, to no longer worrying about adding value. The objective of most major business models in our economy today, and I say most, not all, is to take from somebody else's hard work and goodwill and to inject a cost by being the middle of the whole transaction. Real estate business is a good example. There is a numerous amount of middlemen that you have to contend with that are incompetent idiots in the real estate process. Mostly appraisers, bankers, underwriters, mortgage people, real estate agents, everybody really, home inspectors. There is this vast quantity of these people, 90 percentile or higher, that suck at everything they do. And there's this elite few who are really good and provide service and value and all of that. And this is not a sales pitch. This is a generalization of the entire marketplace for housing. And what's happened is that people have learned, and some of us have learned the hard way, the more you try to provide the best service, the best skills, the best support, the best everything, the less money you make. So the best people have learned that because of integrity or conscience or righteousness or all the above, that their best bet is to try to do as much as they would want done for themselves while understanding they got to throttle back some of the services and support that you would like to provide, because there's always the best liar out there who can win if you're really good and more expensive but are worth every dime of it. And that's the case in every industry. It's not just real estate. And what's happened is, because of this vacuum that's created, all of these middlemen have come in and they've determined, wait a minute, I don't even have to be good. I just have to show up, get in the middle of something, make a big mess out of it, and then be the one with my hand raised going, I have all the solutions on how to fix it. That's the middleman philosophy. That's what happens in pharmaceuticals. Pfizer makes a drug. Some middleman company comes in, which are the negotiators between the major pharmaceuticals, the health insurance companies, and the pharmacies, and they've created a racket, if you will. You could call it racketeering, but it's a racket such that they sign a contract to Pfizer to do their distribution and sales, so that Pfizer doesn't have to have an army of people, even though they do. They've got one company who will guarantee them 1 million pills out the door, right? So that company says, we've guaranteed Pfizer 1 million pills. So now we've got to go and we've got to sit here and sell to CVS, get the doctors convinced to prescribe this crap, and also convince the health insurance companies to pay us the most money possible. So they do that through racketeering. Now, it's not technically, I guess, racketeering, but really it is. And what ends up happening contractually in the pharmaceutical business is they actually sign a contract. The pharmacy, some doctors, the health insurers, the manufacturers of these pharmaceuticals sign a contract, which we could use the word collusion or conspiracy would be better, to delude you so you can't go into a pharmacy and say, hey, if I pay cash through this network, what would my price be? If I use my insurance, what's the price versus the cash price? They're not supposed to do that. There are a few that will, but they're at danger of losing their contract. And that $100 pill they're selling now might be $300 because they don't have a distributor relationship with the crooked, idiotic middleman who is ultimately there to take profit from you. You're paying this. The margins of a business will always stay the same. I was at a hotel here recently, stayed down in Florida, stayed at a hotel, and we decided to stay an extra night. We're having a good time. We were spring break last weekend. We were going to leave early, but we decided we'll stay Saturday night, leave on Sunday, drive the whole way back to Atlanta. And I walked up to the front desk and I said, do you have any rooms available for tonight? And she looked in the computer and said, no, we don't, but you can go on some hotel website online because they've bought and guaranteed a block of rooms. Travelocity, Expedia, all of these companies have become middlemen of the travel agencies. They destroyed travel agency, which in theory was a service where an expert travel host got a commission by selling you a vacation package. Now, the difference is Travelocity came in and says, we can just guarantee Marriott a certain number of room bookings. They'll block those off for us. And as long as we meet generally our demand obligations, they'll give us a margin of their profit. So what ended up happening? So the hotels are managed by the market. So what has to happen is the hotels have to lose profit. And in the marketplace, there are hotels that aren't doing that per se, so they can't exactly just raise the rates. That's not how the market works. So what do? They keep the rates the same. But have you ever noticed now when you go to a hotel, it could be in the middle of a farm in Iowa with a parking lot that's 100 acres for 100 rooms. I'm joking, but I'm being extreme here. And you'd have to pay $30 a night to park your car to stay at a hotel for $200. That is a pet peeve of mine. And the question is, why is that the case? Because they've hidden the cost being taken up by profit shifted over to the middlemen, the online travel agency Nazis that have taken over the business and ruined the service aspect of booking a flight, a hotel, or anything else. So, and then there's the resort fee. We never saw a resort fee 20 years ago. Now it's $50 to $100 at some places. Well, you have to pay for all the amenities that you're already paying for, and you have to pay for the parking lot, which you should already be paying for at the hotel. And I'm not talking about hotels that are in downtown Atlanta where they have a contract with the parking garage under separate ownership next door. I'm talking about the hotels have now converted to the point that you can be staying on their property that they own under the hotel, and they're still charging $30, $40 a night for parking. That's because the middleman came in and said, we'll do all this for you. We're going to take some of your profit from it, and we're going to guarantee you room bookings. The hotel said, this makes sense. We'll just hide some cost over here, and the consumers will just pay it when they get there, even if they bark loudly about it, and then they'll move on. So I go back to what I said at the beginning. Every company in America, for the most part, with a few exceptions of any size, has converted to delusional, fraudulent style. If I book a hotel room online, and I find out for the first time when I arrive that parking's $30 a night and there's a resort fee for $50. Sometimes that's posted online. But if I find that out, I shouldn't have to pay it. But good luck with that argument at the front desk if you find that out. Then there's the other part that the middleman vacuum creates. Since there's no accountability for all of this, America's become a corrupt, dishonorable society caused by the cheating and the greed of these companies, which has allowed people who are incompetent to get away without being really competent. So every company has the fat slob, and I mean that figuratively or literally, that sits in an office at a computer all day, doesn't understand SH from Shinola about the world we're in, even their own business, yet makes everybody in sales and operations and half the customers so damn mad they want to scream and eat nails. They make life hell for everybody because they're in charge of the numbers and the computer and the booking and everything. These people are sometimes community managers, they're underwriters in the mortgage business, they're compliance people at different organizations, office managers, similar jobs as that. And I'm going to tell you, here's the one thing that keeps me calm about it. During the next financial crisis, they'll be the ones complaining and boo-hooing that they don't have a job because they suck at everything they do. So where I want to go next is, what does all this mean for the future of our country financially, the housing business,